Welcome in, everybody. Welcome. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon. We are live at 5, and what a show we have. We're going to let a nation of junior beach volleyball players, coaches, parents, and administrators know just exactly what the AAU has in store. Hey, look, as you come on in, it's like a morning meeting. Just come on in and make sure you check in on the side, log in, and get in the chat room, because we're going to ask you to throw in some questions to make sure we answer any and all of those questions. You know, it was 1994 when Gino Grajeda, of course, our guest today, myself, and one Joe Tyndall, the legend of San Pedro, got together in San Pedro to run the national championships. 6 years later, online registration was the preferred way to get into a tournament. Flash forward to now, there's high school, collegiate, Olympics, multiple organizations. This sport is huge. And today, in the midst of a pandemic, we are using YouTube to get the information out to you so that we hope we can see you on the beach playing. So with that said, we got a packed show, and Gino Grajeda, let's get it started. I'm a Venice, California-born, Los Angeles-based sports fan. One that has played, coached, announced, and promoted sports my whole life. My love affair with sports started in my own backyard and has led me to this podcast. Thanks to the support of the Amateur Athletic Union in East Bay, I'm excited to bring you Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon aims to bring its subscribers interesting, unique, and uplifting stories. You can find us at sportstoriespodcast.com. We drop audio, video podcasts every Thursday and go live at 5 on YouTube 4 nights a week. That's Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
Coming to you live from Los Angeles, it's the top-rated show in the Centinela Adobe corridor, operating in the shadow of LAX out of the 7428 studio, where Jimbo is at the controls and Buck takes a nap until he's got to take a crap. It's SSDL live at 5. That's right, live at 5 on the West Coast. Okay. We're going to be talking to our country of junior beach volleyball players. First, hopefully my family's here. I always enjoy having them. Good for the ratings. How about my people from St. Mark and St. Bernard? That's where I went to school. How about my VBC people? That show has taken off, huh? And how about my AAU peeps? I hope they're here. Hey, look, we're huge in Venezuela, but who's not? Well, pretty much everybody else. We are. But how about the top 5 states outside of California that are checking into the show and that are loading up on the numbers? I'll tell you who. Texas coming strong. Arizona coming strong. Hawaii cracks in to the top 5 outside of Cali. Florida, go figure. And of course, always coming strong, the Buckeye Nation. OHIO. They're always coming strong, them Buckeyes. All right, so look at it. It's going to be a fun show. We got a lot going on, but I'm going to be we have a raffle, which I know many of you signed up for. But first, we want to let you know about something that's really exciting for us. Somebody we think of as one of our top guests we've ever had, and it's coming in July, where we got to sit down with one Karch Karai, and we'll be producing a 5-part series. Let's take a look at that.
During the month of July, Sports Stories with Denny Lennon will publish a 5-part video podcast series with the greatest volleyball player of all time, Karch Karai. Join us every Thursday in July with the head coach of our women's Olympic volleyball team for our Karai July. You can find us on youtube.com/Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
That is going to be exciting. So make sure you bookmark this location. Okay. Speaking of bookmarks, I don't know why I said that. But let's go to Studio 51 in Venice, California. That's right, just a block from the beach. Everybody knows her. She's on the beach because why they know her? Under 10s national champion of 2000, or perhaps because she is a registration charge out there on the beach. Marley Rice, y'all. Hi, Marley.
Hi, everyone. We missed you out on the beach, and we can't wait to get back out there with you. And Denny, how do you know all these people? People are probably wondering, how did you get Coach Karai on your podcast? Well, we have a lot of interesting people. You guys should check out our YouTube and subscribe, and see all of our cool shows that we have.
Yeah, like what we got going out right now, the first ever Black American post-World War II to play professional baseball and football. And the guy reinvents himself later in life to be a Paralympic athlete and win a bronze medal in table tennis. That's like a crazy great story. And he's a lot of fun. Yep, Norm Bass is out and available. So, we know a few people who know a few people. So we want to keep that ball rolling. I think, Marley, you are giving away something.
Yes. So every Friday we have a weekly giveaway. So all you got to do is press that subscribe button and leave a comment for any video on that week. And you'll be entered to win a $100 Eastbay gift card. Get yourself some new shoes, anything really from Eastbay. They sell everything you could think of in the sports world. So yeah, enter, subscribe to us, and leave a comment. Look at that awesome flyer thing right there. But yeah, I'd say subscribe to us. We have some really cool shows happening. Like we were saying, the Norm Bass thing, incredible stories. And we have Coach Karai coming up, whole Karai July. So make sure you guys subscribe to us and follow all of our stories.
Oh, is she playing the winner now or later?
Later. The winner comes out every Friday. So come back on Friday for our Friday happy hour show, and you'll hear the winner in the very beginning of the show.
Excellent. All right. Glad we get to check in at Studio 51 down there, a block from the famous Venice boardwalk. So, all right, Marley, let's see. You know who we got to bring on next, right?
Coach Karai?
No, but close. He's in the realm.
We have a really cool. Gino Grajeda is a wealth of knowledge, and we are excited to have him on our show today. So yeah, Gino.
All right, so let's bring on the president of ISF Beach Volleyball Technical Commission. Let's bring on the commissioner of the Interscholastic Beach Volleyball League. He's the director of the AAU West Coast office. He's the liaison to ISF, but you know him as the AAU Beach Volleyball Commissioner. His name is Gino Grajeda. But before we go to him, we're going to throw you out to an AAU beach montage.
There it is.
Now would be the time where I would give him all his titles. So you heard him. He's worldwide. He's like a worldwide man of mystery of beach volleyball. He's Gino Grajeda, and we just can't bring him on without a montage.
Shake the chains from my soul. Change my direction to heal my reflection. Stepping out into the cold. These are the things I would do to help me break through. Oh, these are the things
about that, you know?
Yeah, that reminds me of that Muskegon picture that we that we went to, that Muskegon, Michigan.
That's right. Well, you know, we take all those 26 years and we mash them together in that one video. It really looks like you put some work in.
It seems that way. We started beach volleyball when we were like 12, right, Denny?
That's right. That's right. It's very exciting. Well, Gino, this is an exciting show. I know we have a host of people that are coming in and they want to find out what's going on in the world of beach volleyball. So maybe you can, first speak to as an administrator that's reaching out to communities and looking to find out, who's operating and who's not operating and stuff. Just kind of give us an update first on that before we get into the specifics about AAU programming.
Well, during the pandemic, a lot of events were canceled,
Yep.
including our events in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
Some states got up and running late May, early June. So we have some competition going on in several states. So now we're just getting up to speed of getting back to normal again, so to speak. But it's been a crazy year. We did run winter tournaments in SoCal. Other states did too, such as Florida and Hawaii. So our announcements today will put a schedule together to see if we can finish out 2020 with a bang.
What are some of the talk to a little bit about the different groups that operate in California? I know we did this before, but I think we could bring people up to speed. You're not just dealing with the city. Many times it's a county, many times it's a state. So talk to some of the complications in running events, both in California but also in other areas.
I can speak to California. Obviously, the state mandates what can take place and what cannot. Los Angeles County, being the most populous county in the state, perhaps even the nation, with 10 million plus people, has some challenges in order to get everything up and running. So we are in the process of trying to complete that. And even within each county, there are cities that also have responsibilities, because there's several beaches that are run by the city, several beaches operated by the county, and several beaches operated by the state. So it's a web of mastering or going through the responsibilities to figure out who's responsible for what beach and what the process is to run events there. There's
been, so much growth in the sport since when you and I, first got started in it. And it's really interesting how, what was primarily a Southern California sport with some spot programming in other areas is now, a nationwide sport. And so many people had always made their plans to come out to Southern California for the big national events. But that won't necessarily be the case this year. It's a different year.
Southern California, or California for that matter, is having some challenges in terms of when events can be starting up again.
Yeah. So
we're going through the same process as well. So we have some alternatives that we'll announce today of what we're planning to do for the summer of 2020.
Let's, without further ado, I guess we could start going towards it. What do you think, Christine?
Sure.
I'm just making sure, because sometimes I can't see my show notes, and I don't read them properly because I don't have my glasses on. And then I make sure by saying, "What do you think, Christine?" Like that. So that was slick for that. But I guess we can jump right in here, Gino.
I can preface the beach events with the AAU indoor volleyball schedule.
Oh, yes, that's right. Good.
That's announced and coming up. AAU indoor nationals have been moved to Orlando, Florida, middle of July 15th to 22nd at the Convention Center. The Volleyball Festival in Arizona is also around that same time frame. Mm-hmm. Looks like we have a graphic of those dates.
Yep.
And several preliminary events in Las Vegas and Reno are coming up. So there is some indoor club volleyball finishing up their season as we speak.
Gino, people I know are watching. I can see the numbers rising as we speak of people tuning in. We just want to also reference where can this information be found after we'll archive the show on our YouTube channel. Where else will they be able to find this information?
For indoor volleyball, it'd be aauvolleyball.org.
Mm-hmm.
For beach volleyball, aaubeach.org and aauclubbeach.com.
Correct. Okay. Good. What are some of the restrictions or some of the conditions, rather, that are placed on operation of the indoor event that the indoor committee is dealing with in hosting that event in Orlando?
Several health protocols for COVID-19 are in place, which we'll implement also for beach events too. Right. So a lot of approvals through not only the county, but also the state are in place. Basically, the indoor event is a spectator-free event. Everyone who is there is a part of the team competition as an athlete, a spectator, a coach, official. So it'll be tightly monitored as far as entrance and exits, who can be at the court at one time, how scorekeeping is managed. There's a whole list of protocols that they're going to that a lot more intense and more detailed than we're going through on the beach. So, and that goes for all the AAU indoor events, whether it's in Reno or Las Vegas or Phoenix. They have some challenges, but they're going to get through it. And there's teams registered and signed up for all these events. And we're excited to have them back playing volleyball again.
No doubt. And we want to make it clear that this was not a quick decision. It was a carefully considered decision, looking at, first the safety of young athletes and then working their way through how can this be operated safely. So can you speak to first, now that we're going to move into the beach volleyball programming and announce that, can you talk about some of the conditions that we'll be operating under when it comes to our events?
At the last show, Marley Rice got to speak on the issue about how we're going to score events.
Right.
Almost all digital scoring using handheld devices in terms of keeping score, managing pools, checking in, play-up rackets. We have eliminated the need for actually a check-in, eliminated the need to actually handle clipboards and scoreboards. We'll be sanitizing balls between matches, monitoring the courts and space issues, making sure everyone is healthy and ready to play at the events. So there's a lot of things we have in place for beach volleyball that we think we can manage the beach better than as if it was just a normal regular beach day with the nets up that the lifeguards have to come in and manage. So us managing the beach will make it a much more clearer aspect of who's supposed to be there, how far apart they can be, and how we can manage these things. I mean, beach volleyball will look a lot different when we come back. We hope to get back to normal with high fives and medal ceremonies and so forth, but looks like we'll be doing side changes around the post.
Yeah.
So things like that, we have a whole list of protocols in place, but the electronic scoring to make things easier. I know we miss our morning meetings and our medal ceremonies. We'll do some kind of substitute for that. We'll still recognize the athletes for their achievement. We just have to be in a forward place to see how we can manage the event properly.
No doubt about it. I know, whether that's local events or national events. I mean, for instance, I know a lot of young athletes are going to miss the information that we give out each year on the background of the Dockweiler event and Isidore Bernard Dockweiler. I mean, everybody really enjoyed that backstory on that man and why the beach was named after him.
And we'll also have to thank for that information, Denny.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll also be having a virtual Player of the Year ceremony. Instead of on
right.
beach, we have to do it on the Sports Stories with Denny Lennon show. So we can have a full
Yes,
aspect, a full profile of that athlete we honor every year, who are some notable names in the past who've earned that award.
It will be. And so, we'll make the best of it. The AAU also certainly did the best they could with the AAU Sullivan Awards. And we were fortunate enough to be able to host that. We're honored to have great athletes here. And we felt like we did the best we could under the circumstances. And we'll be doing the same with both indoor and beach volleyball. So without further ado, Gino, why don't we start to get after it? Let's start with the West Coast Junior Olympic Games.
The West Coast Junior Olympic Games, the actual event itself has been moved to Las Vegas. So for those who don't know, the West Coast Junior Olympic Games is a multi-sport event. Even though many athletes come out to Santa Monica each year, not realizing there are other sports taking place throughout the city. So the event in Las Vegas is scheduled for July 10th through 12th with several different sports, 5 different sports, I believe now, and we're attempting to add beach volleyball to that. The challenge with Las Vegas is the location. We're in talks with the city and county there to obtain the facilities, which have matches under the lights, and that'll be an 1800 division only, open. So with limited courts and limited space, we'd like to have some kind of event in early July for our West Coast athletes to participate in. We assume we'll get some interest from our athletes in Southern California, in addition to our athletes from Nevada and Arizona. So that event is scheduled. We're still hammering out the details on that event. We try to get everything situated by this announcement, but the plan is to have beach volleyball at the West Coast Junior Olympic Games as an open event in one division only.
So again, just mentioning, just say it again. We're still working on that. The rest of the announcements we make will be much more concrete, but that's the first one that we think is going to work out. Now it's obviously going to be very warm in the desert, but that event would be scheduled to be played at night under the lights.
We could go as late as 1 a.m, Denny. It'll give you enough time to make the crap tables by 2.
I was going to say I could still go lose all my money where I normally do between 2 and 3. All right. Yeah. Great. So that's the first step. Let's move on. And you explain the West Coast Junior Olympic Games, an offshoot, if that's a fair term, from the Junior Olympic Games. And there was a way for these teams to convene with us on the West Coast. But the Junior Olympic Games, can you talk a little bit about, before we launch these dates out, a little bit about the origin of the Junior Olympic Games under the AAU banner, and then how we became part of it with the beach program?
Before beach volleyball was in the West Coast Junior Olympic Games, AAU, we had beach volleyball in the main AAU Junior Olympic Games.
Right.
We were in Virginia Beach, we were in Knoxville, Detroit, New Orleans, several cities in the South, Daytona Beach. So several cities we actually had beach volleyball before we moved to the West Coast and blew up the event. It is a multi-sport event. It's been around since 1967. Washington, D.C. was the first event. And the Junior Olympic program by AAU was actually started in 1948, 2 years prior to the founding of the USLC, thus grandfathering AAU to coin the phrase Junior Olympic Games for a multi-sport event. And the Junior Olympic Games in our world is only used for multi-sport events, whether it's the West Coast smaller version or the large, big version that's taking place this year. Track and field alone usually brings in 10,000 athletes.
No doubt. So let's now let's talk about the AAU Junior Olympic Games and beach volleyball's participation in those.
The Junior Olympic Games scheduled for Brevard County, Space Coast Area Region, Florida. This event was actually scheduled to be held this year in Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area. The Central Florida Commission of Brevard County took it upon themselves to bid for this event as a rescheduled location to host the multi-sport games and probably more sports that are there. Other sports have been added besides track, swimming, karate, and taekwondo. It's probably about 15 sports, surfing and baseball and basketball as well. Beach volleyball is a part of the games. The event will be held in Cocoa Beach, which is within Brevard County. Nice location, known for surfing, got a great pier out there. Ron John Surf Shop has its namesake there, and we got a great local committee working with us to make this event happen. This is the event where all the bid tournaments were qualifying for. Initially, they were qualifying for the West Coast Junior Olympic Games. They will now qualify for this event, which is the main AAU Junior Olympic Games multi-sport event.
Excellent. And that's exciting. It's exciting. That's the Junior Olympic Games. And again, as you gave the backstory on all of that. And can you just say it again so everybody gets it clear? There are some bid events out there, but there's other ways to participate. And how will that be parsed out?
Each sport is doing something different. Some sports may still do qualifying standards.
Right.
Some sports may be more open because of the unusual status this year. Since we have ran qualifiers in the winter, and some qualifiers have taken place since late May up through mid-July, we need to honor the teams who actually have qualified and make sure they get in and earn a spot if they want to go to Florida. For teams that are not able to qualify because there wasn't enough maybe canceled events, a lot of states did cancel tournaments and now reschedule them. We need to find a place for some at-large teams too. Right. And this is really based on the number of courts and space available. So you really got to spread this event out over 7 days, 6 days.
6-7
get all the divisions in, allow for as much participation as possible, because we have a feeling Florida alone could fill the event. But we want to make sure that our athletes from across the country who have qualified or have an interest to go from California, Hawaii, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, the Midwest region, the Eastern region, our Northwest region, all teams have planned to enter the Junior Olympic Games when it was scheduled to be held in Santa Monica.
Right.
So this is a challenge we have that we're going to be working the next few days, how to make sure we get our qualified teams in through a priority registration, and then allow some at-large entries as well to fill the remaining spots in this tournament.
No doubt about it. That's going to be complicated, but it's something that can be figured out, and that's exciting. That there's going to be an event. Cocoa Beach certainly got a great history. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I Dream of Jeannie, the very popular television show from the late 1960s, was based on the Space Coast and Cocoa Beach.
I believe so. Known for Cape Canaveral, although it was filmed in Los Angeles, Denny.
Well,
Cocoa Beach was the location for that TV show. From the 60s, Denny.
Yeah,
we're dating
you know me. I got 60s and 70s references. All right, so that's exciting. That's concrete. People can bank on that. Where would you? Orlando would be the airport destination for out-of-state teams.
For those who don't know, Brevard County is the county just east of Orange County, which is Orlando. So the biggest airport would be MCO, Orlando International Airport. Obviously, teams would probably be driving up. But
Yep.
that is the airport you want to get to, which is, it's probably, I believe, Cocoa Beach in Brevard County, maybe the center of Brevard County is about a 30-minute drive from central Orlando, maybe 45 minutes, somewhere in there. So it is Central Florida, but it is distinct from Orlando. They have their own unique things about Brevard County that they're very proud of. You got the beach. You got other attractions there that make it definitely different than Orlando and Walt Disney World and all the attractions there. Obviously, the attraction of Walt Disney World will be there for those teams who want to experience that.
Sure. But
for the most part, most of the teams will be right about staying in Brevard County.
And speaking to that, remind me, I forget, is the amusement parks back up and running in the Orlando area now?
July 15th is scheduled open date for Walt Disney World. Okay. I believe Universal Studios has opened already.
Wow.
And SeaWorld may be open. I know Downtown Disney, which is now called Disney Springs in Orlando, is currently open. So there's a phased opening for those theme parks. As we all know, AAU is a partner with the Walt Disney Company, being that our national office is located on Disney property, and we're managing and primary tenant for the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex.
Those that are not familiar with Cocoa Beach, what's the hotel situation there? I know this will all be up on the website, but some people are tuning in to get the inside scoop.
Well, Brevard County is hosting the entire competition. So obviously they may want to choose a hotel closer to where their competition is being played. I believe Vieira High School or Vieira Community Center is hosting the majority of the events where track and field may be taking place.
Okay.
They probably want to stay nearer to the beach. There will be a website there will be a specific website for AAU Junior Olympic Games.
Great.
Where teams can not only register, but find hotel information, entry packets, attraction information, transportation. And that site will also have the specific dates for each division. Because right now we have a window of 5 to 7 dates. Within the next couple of days, when our committee gets together to figure out what divisions are going on what days, we'll announce that on that same website as well.
Excellent. Okay. That's exciting news about the AAU Junior Olympic Games and beach volleyball's participation. Cocoa Beach, Florida. Our next major event we want to discuss are the one and only national championships, that started in 1994, Gino, at beautiful San Pedro, Cabrillo Beach. But they're not in Cabrillo Beach this year. Gino, go ahead.
You can see right with that slide, the new dates are August 7th through 11th. 2020 in Hermosa Beach. The original dates were July 7th to 11th in Hermosa Beach. So the carbon copy dates 1 month later. Now we anticipate that Los Angeles County will be open. This is a date that's been postponed. We assume we'll be good to go in August. Right now, the month of July is still a no for Los Angeles County, but at least we confirm the JO games are going to happen. So this is our postponed dates. The boys and girls will be held together. The boys were originally supposed to be in June in Manhattan Beach. The girls are supposed to be July 7th to 11th in Hermosa. So it'll be a combined event. This event will probably be a much smaller scale. We know a lot of states are back in school or cannot attend this event because of the later start date. But many school districts out west don't start till either mid-August or early September. So we anticipate this event will still be relevant, especially that the college recruiting window is now open for the month of August. And Hermosa Beach is a great host. We love being in Hermosa Beach and back at the beach house and all the properties there. So we hope this event goes off as planned. We do have some alternatives in Southern California if Hermosa Beach is not available that we're keeping tabs on right now. But our first priority is to have it in Hermosa Beach, August 7th to 11th at the pier.
And to be clear, that event does not require qualification. That has to do with registering first. Correct. And it will be, if not in Hermosa Beach, then we would look at opportunities probably south.
In Southern California, correct.
So if in fact people are able to come from out of state, LAX would still be an appropriate destination.
LAX is probably your best bet. There are about 5 airports in Southern California you can get into with Burbank and John Wayne and Long Beach and Ontario, but LAX is probably the easiest and probably most economical for most participants.
Okay. And we anticipate it to be many Southern California teams, but I wouldn't be surprised to see out-of-state participation, knowing how popular the national championships are. Again,
it'll be a much different event than we're used to, but less an opportunity for the athletes to play. We still have to consider all the protocols in place that the county and the state will allow us to put this event on in order to keep with the standards that we need to do to make this event happen.
Right.
It'll be the 27th event. So
That's
it'll be year 27 for Hermosa Beach. So we're looking forward to being back in Hermosa at a different month. When we first started in 94, Denny, the first event was in August. If you remember, way back in San Pedro. It moved to July, maybe a couple years later after that. But
Remember
back to August but for a different circumstance this year. But again, it is an open event. There are teams currently registered for the national championships on the July dates. We will ask them. We will send them an email saying the date tournament has been moved to August. Do you want to keep your
kick back in there, Grajeda? You can do it.
For other teams who want to play during the August dates?
Okay, so just say that last part again. I think you froze on my screen. I don't know if everybody else caught it. So those that have already registered for the original July 7th through 11, they're going to get a notice first or something along these lines.
You get a notice that they want to keep the registration and transfer it to the new dates in August, or they can request a refund. So we can easily transfer that to the August dates.
Perfect.
Or if the August dates don't work for them, we can obviously refund their entry fee.
Got it. Okay, so those are the major two events. Just recapping, West Coast Junior Olympic Games, that information forthcoming. It looks like we'll be able to pull something off in July 10 through 12, I believe, in Las Vegas for the West Coast. It looks like it, but what's solid right now, Junior Olympic Games in Cocoa Beach, National Championships in the LA area, first choice, Hermosa Beach, and then we'll see what our alternatives are. How about we cover the other events that I believe we want to make note of. First, the co-ed event. I think we have a banner for that. AAU National Co-ed Beach Volleyball.
Co-ed tournament we've held every year during the last weekend of August. It's a one-day tournament. It's not been a national event in the past. It's largely been California teams. This year we decided to make it a national, and we had the pandemic. So that event would still go off as scheduled within the August time frame of LA County approvals at Dockweiler State Beach in Playa del Rey. So that event has drawn quite a bit of interest each year. It's kind of the hybrid between the end of girls' beach season and the start of boys' high school season. So it's when we say co-ed, each team must have a boy and a girl on their roster.
Will that event still be hosting the very popular clam bake, or will the clam bake be put off a year in deference to the pandemic?
The clam bake was a popular side effect of that event. We may have to not only have the clam bake, but also honor Isidore B. Dockweiler at that one event.
We could knock it all out because then we're covering all our bases. That's good. How about the best of the beach, Gino?
The best of the beach, unfortunately, this year is going to be canceled. Yeah. There weren't enough events to decide not to move forward with this. The dates were going to coincide with the postponed national championship dates. I know this is a very popular event for athletes this year because we identify the top 12 teams, winners from regional tournaments, national championships, and Southern Pacific Grand Prix events, champions. So that event will return in 2021. Don't know the location yet, but the 2020 event this year will be canceled. Again, a popular event, but we need to move forward with the larger event to accommodate more teams during that same time frame.
And then the last event we want to make note of is the National Classic.
The National Classic was canceled in June, so that event has already been canceled. Those dates have passed. Some of the dates were supposed to be in Florida with the indoor national event that has been canceled, and the other event that you may have not be aware of is the America's Challenge, which is supposed to be the first weekend of August. Last year, 2 years ago, was in It was the last time we had that was in Puerto Rico, pre-hurricane. So that event was brought to California. America's Challenge is no longer going to happen this year because we're moving the national championships during that time frame.
Exciting that we do have these, the two events that are solid and the information's out there. Now we're going to take some questions, but first we're going to step aside for a quick break, and then we'll be back with the commissioner of Junior Beach Volleyball, Gino Grajeda.
Okay.
Bring its subscribers interesting, unique, and uplifting stories. You can find us at sportstoriespodcast.com. We drop audio, video podcasts every Thursday and go live at 5 on YouTube 4 nights a week. That's Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
During the month of July, Sports Stories with Denny Lennon will publish a 5-part video podcast series with the greatest volleyball player of all time, Karch Karai. Join us every Thursday in July with the head coach of our women's Olympic volleyball team for our Karai July. You can find us on youtube.com/Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
Okay. Okay, Grajeda, we have a grip of questions that are in the queue. Christine, the director, will play them up one at a time.
Okay.
If there's anything that relates to I Dream of Jeannie, I'll answer that. You take the rest. Here we go. So we're able to participate in the Florida event. What if we don't qualify? How do you determine who can take the extra spots? Which would you've mentioned the at-large. So could you talk again about the at-large?
Currently in Florida, we have scheduled events mid-July. 2 events in July coming up that Gino Ferraro from the Florida Beach Volleyball Tour is scheduled to run as qualifiers for the Junior Olympic Games. So that is the first priority for Florida teams. Any other Florida tournament that have already ran qualifiers are a priority.
Okay.
And then we will have an opportunity for athletes to register through an open entry platform. We may even consider, and this is a comment from one of our event operators, to consider the points that teams accumulate throughout the season. Will that be if points are determination from the previous year's results? So this will all be in writing, how we're going to determine that. We just want to make sure that the athletes who have already earned a bid have a chance to get in. We understand not everyone will want to go to Florida, but we know a lot of Florida teams, for them, it's a lot easier way to get there. So we do want to recognize Floridians and make sure they get in. We will fill the tournament. It's just a matter of how many spots that are available.
How many days would each age division be is the next question from Caroline.
Most likely it's going to be 2 days. Some in the past, we've ran 18 and 16s in a 3-day format. With the limited window we have this year, all age groups will be a 2-day event. And it may be the first 2 days, maybe one division, the next 2 days, another division after that. So it's going to be more drawn out than normal. But we want to make sure we get all the age groups in, but we don't anticipate more than 2 days. So it's probably 1 or 2 night hotel stay for a lot of our visiting teams.
Okay. Some good questions here. So Kaylee wants to know, do you have age specific dates yet, which would be, of those weeks? I guess you don't want to say anything concrete until everything is set, but is there some logic to what age divisions play in the part of the weeks? We have an idea of what we want to do. Probably start with 18s, and in the middle we'll go with 14 and 12s, and end with 15 and 16s. That's our current plan, but we still have to work the details out with our court specifications and location. Right. I actually have a call after this call about how we're going to work that out. So we do want to get that out as soon as possible. We were still working under the deadline, as you know, Denny, even as 3 hours ago, to announce where we're at on this. We want to get the information out today of where the JO games will be held and when, and when the nationals will be held and when. And our next phase for both nationals and JO games is what specific dates are on what age group. Nationals may be similar to what we're used to. The only difference is we're adding boys in there. So. Yep. And can you speak to the viewing period for NCAA coaches? Because I'm sure that's going to play into which divisions are playing at what time. For some divisions, we want to be able to highlight the divisions that have recruitable age groups in August. Right. Since August 1st is the current recruiting period for collegiate athletes for both beach and indoor volleyball. So obviously we may not need 12s to be in that window, and perhaps many of the 18s are already signed. So we may have to put them earlier. So that's the current plan. Obviously the August window for Hermosa Beach is wide open for all age groups, but we need to be cognizant of those considerations with the Florida tournament. Okay. Let's see. Next question.
I'm getting there. This one.
Is the registration for original date valid for AAU Beach Nationals?
If you're registered for Beach Nationals and you want to keep your registration for the August dates, you're guaranteed. Okay. We can simply transfer that registration to the new dates. We're going to update the website for the new dates, so that you need to do nothing. The email will go out stating, do you want to keep the registration, which you need to do nothing, or do you want a refund? Okay. And that's probably a Marley Rice question, but I'm assuming she can easily arrange for that.
Absolutely. Let's see what's the next question. Will people that earn bids to the AAU Junior Olympics receive them, or do they still need them? So perhaps go over the qualification for the JOs again so that we're clear.
One of the questions we were getting is, I received a bid, or I got a bid, and I couldn't register. We specifically held out the registration close for the West Coast JO game in Santa Monica because we didn't know what was happening, and we didn't want to register athletes for an event that may or may not be during that time frame. If today we were going to announce the tournament was in Santa Monica, then we would open up, the bids would have went out again. So those who receive them and those who have not received them, they'll go back out again, and we'll open up that registration window very soon.
Okay. Thanks, Julie. Let's see. So this is Michelle. It looks like, when will the JO bid numbers be sent out for reg for those that have already have bids?
So maybe there was some delays on that. That's from the national office. So we will check on that to make sure those who have bids are ready, because those are our priority athletes, to make sure they get in since they earned a spot in there. So we want to make sure. So if there's a situation where you earned a bid and we're opening up the registration window for the athletes who have already earned a bid, notify us at the national office that I've qualified, I've earned a bid for the JO games. I just need to get my bid number so I can register for the event online. We want to make sure those athletes are prioritized. Absolutely.
Crystal's all over that, out of the national office.
Crystal's on top of things. I will know she'll get those out. We haven't had many tournaments, but the ones that we've had have been very competitive. I can tell you our Winter Series tournaments in California were quite competitive, and we may even go down to third place teams for bids on those Winter Series tournaments.
Okay. Let's see if we got more questions. They're coming in from all over the country. This is they put an exclamation point at the end, so it's not a question, Gino. It says, thanks for the update.
We wish we gave as much information as we had at 5 o'clock today Pacific time. We were still getting details. That's 2 hours ago, and we would have loved to have had all the specific dates and age groups, what day they're playing, the bid numbers, but we were working with a lot of missing pieces here, working with the county, city, state, and AAU to make this happen.
We want to reiterate too that this was not done quickly or in a vacuum. We were certainly taking in all all the best and most current information as to how we could do this appropriately and with the safety of the athletes in mind, but also giving them that opportunity to compete, because a lot of young athletes have had a chance to compete in a long time, and so I think we got a good plan here.
It's the best plan we have to date, and I'm excited about the West Coast JO games in Las Vegas. Obviously, the big multi-sport Olympic games in Florida that's going to happen with 15 other sports that are being with us, and we're hopeful that the national championships will have a smooth run in August in Hermosa Beach, back to normal. It'll seem almost normal again for back in Hermosa Beach, playing in front of the beach house, Denny.
That's going to be beautiful, and we'll get a chance to relive the life of Isidore Bernard Dockweiler at the Clam Bake at the end of August. And
I just had a request. I got a secret request that the Clam Bake should resurface from one Tyler Rickman.
Yeah,
so, we might have to speak to the Clam Bake committee.
It's not a secret any longer.
Well, but Tyler's representing the Clam Bake committee. There's a whole people. There's a lot of people who attend the Clam Bake and no idea there's a beach volleyball tournament going on.
They did it, but we keep alive the life of Isidore. All right, Gino. My show notes are right over here. I think I could let him go at this point.
Yeah, you did great.
We won't throw you off the show. That's not for the Wednesday show, Gino. That's Friday night behavior. But thank you for the update. It's excellent, and upward and onward, huh?
We'll get the website updated this week. We were specifically waiting for this announcement to be made so we know all the pertinent details before we post anything. So we'll get that updated, hopefully starting tomorrow.
Upward and onward, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, that was oh, that's your favorite. Gino is a big he likes to call this guy the architect for his contributions to the VBC, but the rest of the world, they know him from BC Entertainment's lead client, the Box Cobbler. Hey, hopefully everybody enjoyed. Remember, we got plenty of programming coming up. A little bit of Box Cobbler on our way out. AAU is ready to provide that volleyball business. So go ahead and check on both sites, get more information. And thanks for joining us today. Over to the Box Cobbler.
Hear my story, let me start. It's reaching a fever pitch and it's gonna get in your heart. Sports stories is what you wanna see. Come on, baby, come and watch it with me. Sports Stories runs deep. You gotta come and see. Sports Stories runs deep.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is supported by the AAU. Find a local event and join at aausports.org. And remember, you can catch your favorite amateur sports live stream, replays, and highlights at ballertv.com. Sports Stories, along with East Bay, supports the Heroes Movement, a nonprofit that bridges the gap from mental or physical therapy to getting strong again through strength and conditioning workouts. This free service is available for any veteran of the United States Armed Forces. Visit heroesmovementusa.org for more information. Sports Stories, along with thousands of people across the country, also supports the My Stuff Bags Foundation, a nonprofit that provides traumatized children with new belongings and new hope. Learn more at mystuffbags.org. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is a production of Sports Stories, Inc. and is available on Apple Podcasts and YouTube or wherever you listen and watch. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and give us a review. It really helps spread the word. You can find all our social media links, archives, and other info on our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com. Special thanks to the John R. Wooden Course and Wooden's Wisdom. Original music for Sports Stories is courtesy of Lennon Music Productions. Original images by Sienna Lennon Photography. Sports Stories is produced by Christine Jimbo and Marley Rice. Sports Stories is edited by Bob McCall. Additional staff include Ray Castro, Teresa Dolan, Jake Downey, Carlos Haro, and Buck Magic Lennon. Kick it out, Buck! Yeah, kick it out! Kick it out! Yeah, buddy! Way to kick it out! Good job!